Good morning. One of the most important rights that we have in this country after the right to free speech, to freely criticize our government, freedom of the press, is freedom of religion. And let's make no mistake, I know a lot of people fight about this, but freedom of religion is also freedom from religion. And this right is supposed to make sure that no government entity, no member of the government can not only interfere, they're not allowed to interfere with anyone's right to practice the religion of their choice, but they are also not allowed to force anyone to practice a religion they choose not to believe in or not to practice. And the other part of that is that tax dollars, your tax dollars, cannot be used to support or to repair any church property, including a playground. Now, I'm talking about this because the very first case, we know that we just had a Supreme Court nomination and that Neil Gorsuch basically stole the seat. It wasn't his seat to be confirmed to. It was supposed to be President Obama when Antonin Scalia passed away during Obama's last term in office. President Obama, a Democrat, was supposed to fill that seat, and Congress got together and refused to allow him to do that. So right there, that was unprecedented and against the law. But they got away with it. And make no mistake, Neil Gorsuch, even though during his confirmation hearings, he said that he would not write law, because that's not what the Supreme Court is supposed to do. They are supposed to uphold the existing laws of our land, not write new law. But Neil Gorsuch is one of those people that you have to be afraid of. He is very far right. And when I say right, I mean religious right. He is a devout Christian. And he could possibly rewrite some laws. Some of them are very serious. But this case, this was the very first case that this new Supreme Court heard. And the vote right now, what the Supreme Court does is they vote first if they're going to hear the case, if it has enough there, basically. And right now, it looks like Neil Gorsuch it's a 5-4. 5 of the justices are far right, and 4 are to the left. So it's uneven. So right now, we have a majority who may actually vote to hear this case. And this case, make no mistake about it, is just as important as a Roe v. Wade case or a gay marriage rights case. Because this affects every single one of you and your money. What the case is a nursery school that runs out of a church. It's called Trinity, it's a tongue twister, Trinity Lutheran Church School, nursery school. And I believe it's in Michigan, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter where it is, because this could be anywhere USA. They have a playground on church property. It is church property. And the state has decided that they are allocating so many tax dollars to upgrade playgrounds all over the state. Public school playgrounds, public park playgrounds. You understand I'm saying public, right? These are places where the taxpayers do pay and are supposed to pay. We all pay, homeowners pay school taxes. So yes, we want our school playgrounds to be safe. Our tax money is used to upgrade public school playgrounds. What our tax money is not supposed to do is pay to upgrade Christian or any religious church school's playground. And this Lutheran nursery school, they want tax money. They're saying they're being discriminated against because of their religion and not getting this tax money to upgrade their playground. They don't want our children to be safe. No. You see, this is the law. Separation of church and state. Now let's think of something else that we need to know about. Churches do not pay real estate tax. And they don't pay school taxes on the property that they own. All of you who are sitting in your homes right now watching me, are paying, even if you're a renter, you are paying through your rent. You are paying real estate and school taxes. You don't think your landlord's paying them for you. He's paying them, but you're paying for them through your rent. Took me a long time to figure that out, but I get it now. These churches that in some cities are on every corner and take up a lot of real estate, they pay no taxes. They don't pay taxes that help upgrade your child's public school playground or the public park down the street's playground. But this Lutheran church school wants your tax dollars to pay to fix their playground. That's not the way it works. Now, there are millions of people in this country who are not Christians. Believe it or not, I know it's hard for Christians to believe. They believe this is actually the United States of Jesus Christ, which it's not. And it never will be if more people like me speak out. This is not the United States of Christianity. In fact, our country bombs countries that try to force people who refuse to practice what the government religion is, like Islam. We bomb them. But over here in America, we ask the Supreme Court, the highest court in our land, to force non-Christians to pay to upgrade a Christian church, their property. See, when you're a church in this country, in America, you get a perk. You don't have to pay taxes. But when you get that perk, you also have the consequence of you cannot ask the government for money to fix your church roof or to put new carpeting in your church or to repair your church playground. That's when you get up in church on Sunday, the pastor, and says, hey, we need our playground upgraded. We need donations. You open a GoFundMe account on Facebook or on the internet and ask for donations. That's how things get done, repairs for churches. They are not allowed to take your tax dollars and give it to a Christian church. Now, let's also talk about something else. When I say first of all, there is no war on Christianity here. However, Christians are at war with anyone who is not a Christian. And if you don't believe that, you listen to who is trying to get into the Supreme Court right now and have their cases heard. Christian employers who don't want their employees using birth control. Because when they go to church on Sunday, these are not churches. These are employees who run businesses and just happen to go to church on Sunday. And the preacher says birth control is a sin. So they come to work on Monday and they tell their employees, we don't want you using birth control, so we don't want it on our insurance plan. Basically, we want to force you to live by our religion, whether you believe it or not. They want to be heard by Neil Gorsuch and his buddies at the Supreme Court, his 5 other far-right buddies. We have bakery owners and pizza makers and caterers who, because they go to church on Sunday, they don't want to cater a gay wedding. They don't want to make a cake for gay people. They want to be able to force their religious beliefs on their paying customers. I don't like your lifestyle. I'm not serving you. These are the cases that could change the Constitution of the United States. Not the gay marriage law. That was marriage equality. That meant that if you are a couple and you want to get married, it should not matter your gender. That's just equality. You have a right to get married in this country if you fall in love with someone. That's not rewriting the law. That's upholding it, that everyone has the right to marriage, if they so choose it. This kind of stuff is rewriting the law. Now, I want to give you another example. I'd like to ask you to close your eyes like I do. I always reference this wonderful John Grisham book, A Time to Kill, where the defense attorney says, close your eyes, because a little black girl was raped and beaten and brutalized, and most of the jury was white, and they were racist, but he said, now imagine she was white. Now, what if this playground, this church school playground, was at a synagogue? It was a Jewish playground, school playground, or a Muslim Say a mosque runs a daycare center or a nursery school at the mosque, and they have swings and a sliding board and jungle gyms. What if they were asking for your tax dollars to upgrade their playground? How far do you think they would get in the Supreme Court? You think they would even try? A Muslim school, a Muslim nursery school asking for American taxpayer dollars to upgrade their playground? How far do you think they would get? You want to talk about a war on any religion in this country? There is a war on Islam. There is basically a war on atheists. There is a war on anybody who refuses to practice Christianity. And now, and again, I love this because yesterday's show was about busy bullies. And so again, we can connect dots. Again, there are a group, and it's a large group of Christians in this country who believe that if you are not a Christian, you're doing something wrong. And they need to change that. And they want the nanny government to change it for you. They want their Bible to make the laws. They want their preachers' words to be the words of the Supreme Court. They want you to live by their religion. The Trinity Lutheran Church has no right to your tax dollars because they don't pay one dime of taxes for your children to play in a safe playground, in your public parks, or in your public schools. They don't pay one dime. And I know this for a fact because I talked to a government official. So if you're getting your thumbs out, all I can say is I spoke to someone in my own town, in Lancaster City. And I said, why are our real estate and school taxes so much higher here in Lancaster City than in the suburbs, where the houses are worth more money, the school districts are better quality? And this person said to me, what do you see? Look at this corner. What do you see? What do you see over here on this corner? I said, well, they're churches. Bingo. The more churches that take up real estate in your town, the higher your real estate and school taxes will be, because look at all the ground, their parking lots, their buildings. No taxes, no tax revenue is collected from these people, from these entities. And that makes your taxes go up. And then they have the nerve to come to the government and say they want your tax dollars to pay to upgrade their building or their playground. Now, I will be watching this case for all of you, because many of you probably didn't hear about it. And if you did hear about it, it was a blurb and you just thought, well, big deal, it's a playground. But it's so much more. And if this case gets heard, and if Trinity Lutheran Church gets to use your tax dollars to upgrade their playground, it opens a door. It opens a door for an entity, a religion that pays no taxes to your community, to take money from your community, from the taxpayers of your community for their benefit. That is not what the Constitution states. The very idea of separation of church and state is for this reason alone. You give the church a perk. They don't have to pay taxes. And that is so the government cannot go in and influence the way they practice their religion. But there's a backside. There's a consequence. When you get a perk, there's a catch. And the catch is you cannot go to the government and ask for taxpayer dollars to pay to refurbish any part of your church to help you practice your religion. The government cannot stop you from practicing, but on the other hand, they're not allowed to help you practice it with money, with my money, with Jewish people's money, with Islam people's money, with Wiccans' money, with atheists' money. See, we are a melting pot in this country, whether the Christians want to believe it or not. And the Wiccans, the atheists, the agnostics, the Jews, the Islam, they vote and they pay taxes. And their taxes should not be going to upgrade Christian churches. Because I promise you that there is no mosque in this country that can go to the Supreme Court and ask for taxpayer dollars to upgrade their playground on their Muslim school. I actually don't think a Jewish school could do it either. They'd be laughed out of the court. So I am praying and hoping that just because Neil Gorsuch stole this Supreme Court justice seat, that he could hold for 50 years if his health holds out, and he lives that long. It's a lifetime appointment. He cannot be fired. He's there for as long as he lives, or as long as he chooses to do it. I hope he was honest when he told the confirmation committee, who actually did not confirm him. They changed the rules. He did not get voted in fair and square. The Republicans changed the rules so he could get his seat. No Democrat wanted this man. None on the Supreme Court. And he promised that he could park his personal beliefs on the courthouse steps where they belong. We're going to find out really quickly, seeing that the first case is a freedom of religion case. And again, freedom of religion and freedom from religion are the same thing. You can practice any religion you want. What you cannot do is knock on my door and force me to support it financially or practice it with you. And you don't like my lifestyle, I don't care. If you don't like my lifestyle and I want a cake from your store, you're going to give me a cake. Or a pizza, or you're going to cater something. Because my money is green. It's not rainbow colored. It's not black. It's not white. It's green. And it spends as good as your Christian buddies, as your parishioners' money spends. Actually, I tend to believe I spend my money in better places sometimes. Because I don't give money to churches. I give money to people who actually need it and will use it, and I know where it's going. That's how I do my human duty. Not a Christian or a Jewish or a religious duty, but my human duty to charity. If I hear of somebody who needs money or help with something, I'm there. But I'm not going to give 10% of my salary to any church so they can put up a stained glass window or even a playground. I don't have kids. I don't care. But I will be damned if my tax dollars are going to go to any church or any entity that doesn't pay taxes to upgrade anything. Playground, roof, windows, carpeting, nothing. They're a church. They don't pay taxes. And sometimes their properties are worth $1 million. And they don't pay taxes. Think of the money they're saving. They can use that money. They can use donations from their parishioners to upgrade their playground. So let's hope Neil Gorsuch was honest, at least in one part of his testimony, when he said he can park his beliefs at the courthouse steps. And remember this, bakery owners, pastry owners, craft store owners, Chick-fil-A. If I want your product and I have the money to pay for it, I don't care. I don't give a shit if you like me. You don't have to like me, but you sure as hell have to serve me my damn chicken. You have to make me my cake. And we're going to find out what Neil Gorsuch thinks about that. Because when I walk into your bakery, I'm not walking in there to pray. And I'm not walking in there to have my soul saved. And I'm not walking in there to be a part of a church or to be a part of your church. I'm walking in there to get a fucking cake. And if your job is to provide me with a cake, and I have the money to pay for it, then you better fucking provide me with my damn cake. So we'll see what happens. I will keep you apprised when I hear if they are going to actually let these people come in and fight this case about the Trinity Lutheran Nursery School. It really is a tongue twister. Playground. And if the answer to that is yes, then we know how our Supreme Court is going to go in a lot of other cases that have to do with religion and legal discrimination against people whose lifestyles some Christian people, business people don't agree with. Some Christian employers don't agree with women who use birth control. That's a really scary thought. So this little case that meant probably nothing to many of you may turn out to be very important. So I'll keep my eyes open, my ears open, and I will report back to you as I always do when I hear something about it. A lot of court decisions are announced in June with the Supreme Court. Their major ones are announced in June. So we'll see what happens. I will for sure let you know. But please keep yourselves informed and do not ever think I am bashing Christianity. I don't bash any religion. But I'm getting a little sick and tired of me being bashed because I don't want to support Christian values that I don't agree with, that I refuse to bow down and obey anybody other than my own personal belief, my own relationship with my Lord and with Jesus Christ. That's my business. And it's my relationship and it's personal. I don't force it on anybody else. And I will not have your beliefs forced down my throat. And I will not allow our government to turn into a Christian-only government. Because then somebody just might bomb us. And they might have a good reason to. Now, I'm not promoting that. Think about it. We bomb countries where they throw Christians out, where Christians are being persecuted. We bomb them because they say everybody has to bow down to Allah and practice Islam. And yet, we're going to allow our country to force everyone to live and practice Christianity? That, to me, sounds very disingenuous. We're hypocrites. If we will defend Christians in an Islam state and say Islam cannot control an entire country, why would we allow our country to be controlled by Christians, by one religion, when there are so many other religions that Americans practice every day and do so peacefully? These are questions that I'm going to ask and that you should be asking. When I have the answers, I will be right here to let you know. Political Paula, out.